Hey everybody, welcome to Hear Us Out. I am Patrick.
And I'm Paul. How's it going?
Pretty crazy, but good. Apologies to all of our live viewers who are wondering why at the last minute we had to push things out by an hour. I had to bring somebody I love very much to a hospital, but I want you all to know that I love you almost as much as that person, and that's why we're here. Even though it is shifted by an hour, we're here to do another amazing Thursday night episode of Hear Us Out. And I can't remember what we titled this one, but I know it had something to do with surprising casting.
Yeah, surprise casting decisions. Some of these brave decisions took us all by
There
surprise.
you go.
There you go.
Also, I have a different seat and the adjuster thing is broken on it. I didn't have time to sort it out, so I'm going to be sitting slightly lower today. That's why I'm doing this, trying to get myself into camera.
Can I can I just say the dedication to showmanship from Patrick. Like Patrick messaged me and he was just like, I we're postponing, and I was just like, perfect, cool, grand. You
Hey,
sort yourselves out, get yourselves fine. Like we can always just go next week.
nah.
Like I know it's awful for the audience, but like some
The
things are more important.
the
And then you
two
were like,
viewers
no.
deserve our timeliness. I know we've probably lost a lot of our usual live people because they're used to the time. So this is for all the people watching in the future. In the future. So, future people in your space cars and your hover bikes, you're going to get to look back at a load of movies just like us and go, God, that was a brave choice or a surprising casting choice. And I'm not saying that's a good thing or a bad thing, because sometimes it's like, oh, I wouldn't have picked them. That was a good choice. Or, ooh, I wouldn't have picked them. And it's all about intonation at that point, I think, Paul.
Yeah, that's the kind of decision that we're looking at, is some of those things that they're just like, hey, these people and you were like, are they going to be good at that? Like
Yeah.
they seem to. I also think it comes down to typecasting a bit.
Yeah.
You
In
know.
fact, actually, Paul, I'm going to throw up some examples. So I'm going to start off with good old Sylvester Stallone. And what I've pulled up is a little screen grab from a film called Daylight. Wasn't his most famous. It wasn't his big break. He'd already been famous for Rambo and Rocky and all sorts of stuff that start with R. Um, but the reason I picked Daylight is because after it, he was surprisingly cast as a portly, let's just say, or somebody of my builds, cop in Copland. So he played completely against type in Copland, or was cast at least against type. And he was great. He got a lot of credit for it. He was, from what I remember, universally loved. I didn't go back and check the reviews, but I think he got a lot of credit for doing that. As is often the case with people who go from, either lose or gain weight. But it's not just the weight thing. It was very much not the role that you'd usually cast Sylvester Stallone in.
Yeah, just another one for those was stop or my mom will shoot me or shoot you.
When he
Which
tried his comedy.
Yeah, when he tried his comedy thing, because it was also along the lines when Arnold Schwarzenegger, and I'm hoping I'm not seeing anything there.
No.
Arnold Schwarzenegger did which was Kindergarten Cop,
Yes.
which is another on the cusp
Yeah.
comedy kind of thing.
They
So
were they were all at it, Paul. There's no other way to put this. They
yeah,
were all at it. Um,
yeah.
and it wasn't Stop or My Mom Will Shoot Me, because that would have been a very different film. It's Stop or My
No,
Mom
yeah,
Will
stop.
Shoot. But I
Yeah,
love the idea that the sequel could have been Stop or My Mom Will Shoot Me.
yeah.
Because
That's
that was the 80s thing. Add another word at the end of a long title.
yeah. They don't do titles like they used to.
No, they do not. I am going to throw up another couple in the same vein. In fact, in the same uh, Planet Hollywood, I was going to say Hard Rock, Planet Hollywood family. I'm throwing up right now a picture of a character called David Addison. If anybody's old enough to remember, that's Bruce Willis from Moonlighting. He played a cheeky, suave, little kind of jazz singing fart head across from Sybil Shepherd. It was all very adorable and all very loving. But then he went on and famously did Die Hard, which made him an action star. Like, put him in
Hmm.
the Stallone, Arnie, like I say, Planet Hollywood league. And Paul, I don't know if you ever heard this, but you know the Die Hard trailers when they first played? People laughed literally laughed in the cinema at the idea of the dude from Moonlighting saving a building from terrorists. Well, ho ho ho! Now I have a machine gun. Fair play to him.
Yeah, like that's it's one of those interesting things. Yeah, because there's a few actors who do random things that are like as they eventually get typecast into action heroes or something else kind of thing. But they did a couple of films prior, and they're like, you're just surprised that they're there. Looking back, you know,
Yeah, and you know
could
what?
be a
Casting directors and casting agents deserve a lot of credit, and they're going to get a lot of it in this episode tonight, because not only was Bruce Willis an inspired choice for Die Hard, but when you see what his career went on to be, it would have been a shame if he'd just been left as, TV funny man, essentially,
yeah.
who played a little bit cool. He would have had Rob Lowe's career, essentially, and I love you, Rob Lowe, by the way. That was not a dig, but it wouldn't have been Bruce Willis.
Yeah, we wouldn't have gotten what we got, you know.
Yeah. Well, and on from Brucey, I'm going to throw in a few more quick fires just to kind of loosen the wheels on this, so everybody gets the idea what's going on. So what I've got on screen, Paul, because I know there's a 30-second delay for Paul, everybody, which you're all experiencing too. Kate Beckinsale. Kate Beckinsale, famous for Underworld, right? In a lot of ways. I'm famous for a lot of things, but her franchise was Underworld. She was not the natural choice for a ass-kicking vampire necessarily. When you consider her previous movies were a lot of, romantic movies, just straight romantic, not always even romantic comedy, some romantic comedy. Then she did Pearl Harbor, which was her highest profile movie before that. Didn't go well for anybody involved there. Didn't seem to hold her back. She donned the leather lycra, whatever the hell that was. And I still maintain that first Underworld movie, massively underrated. For what it was doing, it did it better than most folks.
It did, yeah. It's one of those surprising moments in kind of like, I guess, the vampire werewolf fantasy thing, because it very came out of nowhere. Much like the Night Watch, the Russian film.
I still haven't watched that. Everybody has told me for years to watch Night Watch and Day Watch.
Yeah, it's an interesting series from Russia, which is really good.
Cool.
But it came out around the same time as Underworld, so it seems to mix well.
Oh, good job. Paul, while I shout out to Matt Damon here, would you choke your mic a wee bit? Drag her closer. Yeah. Matt Damon, why is Matt Damon on this? You have to remember who and what Matt Damon was before The Bourne Identity, because he certainly wasn't an action star. Not to the level that The Bourne Identity brought him to. He was a star, a superstar, an Oscar-winning writer. Technically, Oscar-winning. He didn't win any acting Oscars at that stage, or did they win? Did he? Oh,
they won best screenplay.
Yeah.
Am I too loud now?
No, you're fine.
I think they won best screenplay. I don't know. I think Robin Williams won a Oscar for best supporting actor for.
Well deserved for Good Will Hunting. Anyway, you've got the reason I've chosen the picture of Linus from Ocean's 11 is because here's how big a step it is to go. This guy's going to be able to kick everybody's ass. He was in a film with 11 other famous people, supposedly, and they made him play the lovable, handsome dork, essentially. So he was the underdog when faced with other people. And then, as you see, if anybody's watched any of the Bourne movies, he is very convincing as an activated sleeper agent type thing, whatever the correct term for being, what is that, Manchurian candidated?
Yeah, I guess that's the best way to call it.
I never ever want to say something that ends with a D and have to say did it again. Manchurian candidated. So that was quickfire one. Paul, I want to move on to anybody out there who's not a comics fan. We said we were going to move away from comic stuff for a few weeks. I think there's a few famous ones that we have to cover here. And I would say this is probably the most important non-comic one for a lot of people. It's the Joker. And it's not just the Joker once, Paul, because you picked the Joker and I'll throw up Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah. Like that's the thing. Yeah, Joaquin Phoenix as the Joker. When that first was announced, there wasn't a lot of pushback kind of thing. But it was one of those things that people were surprised about. Um, it's not like Joaquin Phoenix is got like kind of a bad rap or anything like that. I think it was just one of those kind of like um, surprised kind of castings that no one thought was coming, kind of thing. Like everyone, like thank God they didn't choose like Jared Leto again to play in this one or anything. But yeah, it was a big surprise, and like yeah, I think a lot of comic book fans, like I think every time they're gonna push back on any kind of, I guess, not their choice. But the seconds that the trailer came out, um, there was no question about it that this was the right call. This was someone dedicated to the thing, to the piece and stuff. And then it just exploded. Like, and then they found like people found out that he didn't really know the character, to prior to his casting, as in he
Yeah. And that's what
like
that's
that
what I
was
think makes this really brave and inspired casting. That's why I'm really glad you picked this. Because, okay, spoiler warning, everybody, we are going to have to talk about Heath Ledger in a moment. But Heath Ledger as Joker's been talked about a lot. Just when it comes to really out there thinking, okay, Joaquin Phoenix, great actor. But like Paul's saying, he brought a lot to not just the role, he brought a lot to the project, from an artistic and maybe interestingly different kind of way. Because dude's out there in a good way, you know what I mean? He's like, there's only one Joaquin Phoenix, and I love him for it. I'll be honest.
like that's the thing. Like it was just like he was. It was obviously that he was more interested in the scripts than he was any of the character kind of. That he was interested in the character in the scripts rather than any of the history and legacy, and that he decided to get onto the project. And as I said, when that broke, I remember so many people messaging me. They were just like, "Did you see like Joaquin Phoenix didn't read anything about the comics before he went for the audition?" And I went, "Yeah, that's perfect.
Mm.
Like you don't have anything tied over. Like you're not like he didn't watch any of the he didn't watch any of the original. He didn't watch like which goes like Heath Ledger or
Jack Nicholson.
Jared Leto or Jack Nicholson like stuff. He didn't even watch the Mark Hamill like
The
animated
animated
version
stuff, right?
Yeah, which a lot of them did. Like he decided to go in it in his own kind of way, reading the script. Like he did read as the thing went on. He did read more and more to get little pieces and stuff. But he decided to kind of go his own way, and like there's a great divide between the character before he becomes the Joker and the character after. And I think I only like from now on I only think that Joaquin Phoenix could do the before transformation into the Joker and then continue on as the Joker kind of thing. Like Heath Ledger did a perfect Joker. We never got his history or anything like that. We just got the Joker from Heath Ledger, which is perfect. Jack Nicholson's one is a little bit kind of like campy comic kind of old school one, which is just perfect for the Tim Burton. But Joaquin Phoenix, like I think like, I could not see that coming.
There's once in every episode, folks, and if you watch all our episodes back, you'll notice that either me or Paul, usually Paul, I throw in the odd good one where somebody nails it perfectly. And Paul, I'm calling it early on this one. The idea that one of Joaquin's big things was that it's not just that he did a good Joker, it's that you can't imagine anybody but him now doing the transition too. And hey, let's hope it's not lost on everybody, because I know the Joker made a big splash and a lot of people missed it. If you want to, in fact, we should be hyping our own stuff. We used to do that more. In our video library, we did a Joker trailer. So before the movie was announced, we did a little small video on the Joker trailer, which was fun. And then we did a follow-up after seeing the movie. And I think those two are really interesting, I guess, companion pieces. Just where we were both coming from with like your level of knowledge and my level of fear of them absolutely ruining this and nobody ever being allowed to make one of these films again. It's funny. And I think we have a lot of people to thank for them getting it right. But I'm with you. I think we should thank the casting director or whoever convinced Joaquin Phoenix, or vice versa, or whatever, because they definitely played a part too.
Like just talking on the video, guys, which that we did the trailer video, you'll be surprised about where our positions are.
Oh, actually,
Kind of
yeah,
thing,
you kind of will.
because our positions change like between obviously our positions change like as we watch the movie and stuff like that. But there's a big altercation kind of thing of
Not altercation, but yeah, I know what you're saying.
sorry,
Actually,
yeah,
it is worth watching it back. We don't fight, although we should let people think that we do. It just breaks into like, and we used to do it in the same room at the time, so it's not even just like slap fight like we try right now. Where are you? You're down below me. He's over here from me.
no, wait,
There you
that's
go.
bad.
Do it again.
Continue.
Yes, continue. So Heath Ledger. Now that we'll get away from you, virtually poking me. Heath Ledger, I've thrown up before and after of him that a lot of people have in their minds. Because Heath Ledger really hit the scene. I don't know, was it on Home and Away or Neighbours or something? But he hit the scene for a lot of people in 10 Things I Hate About You, which was when they were making kind of teen romantic remakes of a lot of old Shakespeare stuff. And he was great. And he was great in A Knight's Tale. Heath Ledger was great before The Joker. And people are like, oh, what did he really ever do? So, well, I think the Oscars would say that he did pretty well thanks to Brokeback Mountain. Like, he was a very respected actor. But the idea of attractive, pretty, good actor Heath Ledger taking on a comic book Joker type thing, because at that point, like Paul, you listed out the Jokers that had existed before that point. I don't think you'd have a Joaquin Phoenix Joker without the Heath Ledger performance. And I don't mean from Joaquin's point of view. I think from an industry point of view. Because he absolutely blew the doors off it. And whoever saw that talent sitting there, they're a genius. Ooh, they're an absolute genius.
Yeah, yeah. That's like I can't agree enough in the sense that because that was like one of the biggest surprises from everybody. I remember when they announced Heath Ledger, that exploded in such a toxic way.
Oh, the internet hated the idea. Hated the idea.
Because they got it stuck on the 10 Things I Hate About You and also the Knight's Tale thing.
Oh, he's a pretty boy.
That pretty boy, yeah.
Wouldn't it be great if somebody was using pretty boy as a pejorative for you? Then you'd be like, there's a compliment in there somewhere. If anybody wants to call me pretty boy in a negative way, I will only hear that I'm pretty. Yeah. Just so you all know.
Hey, take what I'll take what I can get.
Exactly, me too. Paul, in the interest of not just disappearing off it, let's clear out the Batman stable because oh my god, why isn't that actually showing on screen? I'm going to put up some Batman stuff, essentially, and I've put up Michael Keaton. I've put up Michael Keaton of my youth. And when you see the picture, you'll know why I chose this picture. But you mightn't know that that's from the film directly before he did Batman. He basically did a film called Dream Team, which is relatively forgettable. But that's the guy that they were like, he's going to play Batman. And okay, a lot of people at the time did say he hasn't got the chin for it. He isn't built enough. How's he going to do the physicality? Yada, yada, yada. To that I say BS. On any metric, you wouldn't pick Michael Keaton. It's just like, really? Funny man Michael Keaton's going to be the brooding super detective with some, psychological trauma. Really? No. And it was brilliant. And I'm so glad they did, because I loved him before and I've loved him ever since.
Like, that's the thing. Sorry, I was just looking. A lot of people are calling you pretty boy in the chat.
I'm going to be reading the chat in bed tonight. I'll be like scrolling back through it. Thanks, everybody.
That's the thing. Like, yeah, the once again seeing the connection between Michael Keaton and like you can see now on the roles that he's played since, like Birdman and the Vulture and stuff like that. Even more serious roles as well. you can see it. Like you can when you watch that and then you watch Batman, or you watch Batman and then that, you're just like, oh, I can see the genesis of his kind of like, because he plays. You have a piece that you really like, and I won't.
Oh,
I
I
won't
know.
butcher
Actually,
it,
yeah, I'm surprised you remembered that. Oh, Paul, that's sweet that you remembered that. One of my favorite bits of movie history.
yeah, Patrick is a moment that he really likes within the Tim Burton Batman, and I'll let him describe it because he describes it really well. But like he plays like the Batman in the Tim Burton things goes from high to low to manic to loads of different things, and you can see parts of those like moments fully developed in other films that he does. Like this part that Patrick will do is like it keeps reminding me of Beetlejuice.
Yes, and the part just so he can kill the suspense. And I would do the full impression, but I'm worried about blowing out the mic. It's the you want to get nuts? Let's get nuts! Smashy, smashy, smashy on the mantelpiece. For anybody who's seen the film, will remember him with the poker, where he has been trapped basically as Bruce Wayne, needing to be Batman. I love that scene for another reason. It's where what would Bruce Wayne, who's also very clever Batman, do when he can't just admit he's Batman because he needs to take care of a situation. And I thought it was a really, really nice, well thought out scene. And I think Michael Keaton brought all the sauce. All the sauce. I could watch that thing on repeat all day long. I can see you looking over at the comments, so I'm going to throw in some other parts of the bats and then we'll stop it. Because I left, for the eagle eye viewers among you, I left some space on screen there. And that was for Ben Affleck and Robert Pattinson. I find it very hard not to say Pattinson now. It's terrible.
I know.
Well, Batfleck and Pattinson were also brilliant casting, possibly, in the second one. I think for the former, Ben Affleck, everybody knows he's one of my favourite Batmans since Keaton. There have been a few in between. Look it up. They did happen. I do think it was smart casting. And again, a lot of people would have said, can he do it? Is he just a bit too much of a heartthrobbly type? But because it was playing an older Batman, I think he brought a lot to the role. He brought a lot to Bruce Wayne, in fact.
He brought an older Batman, older Batman and older Bruce Wayne kind of thing that's been jarred by the kind of, I guess, life. So that's what I really like about the Batfleck kind of thing, is that he is so different to the rest of them, in the sense that he is playing the Return of the Dark Knight essential, the essential kind of parts of his character is from that series. If you haven't seen that series, definitely look it up. Kind of thing, you'll get the gist. It's essentially older Batman. But yeah, no, when people were just like, oh, I can't believe they got Ben Affleck to play Batman, I was just like, actually, I think he might be a really good Bruce Wayne. I don't know about how he'll do the Batman kind of side of things, but I think he'll be doing an excellent Bruce Wayne, like, kind of thing. And I was surprised. I was surprised about the Batman side, and I was just like, this is really good casting, because he plays a good older kind of like gruffer, run-down version of Batman. Like, he's tired. You can tell the tiredness is in him.
Have we ever done an episode where we rate the Batman? The men to play the Batman?
I think we did.
God, we might have done, folks.
We've done this because we've just broken through our like second and a half year or something.
Yeah, I think we're heading towards 200 videos actually, which is kind of scary. Sorry for butting in with that, Paul, because if we haven't, we're going to look it up. Folks, let us know in the comments if you'd like to see one. In fact, maybe let us know in the comments if you'd like to see anything, because we'd love to take your ideas on board. Paul, to go to the comments. Oh, sorry. Yes. Yeah. To go to the comments.
Yeah, I was going to say jump to the comments kind of thing, because there's
a lot of
them. One comment. There's also one comment that I also got to see, which I was. This is one comment that you'll be happy to know, Kevin, that I agree to one of your people that you said.
Oh,
and might come up.
Oh, somebody called one of your picks. Oh, I hate it when that happens. Well, I'm gonna be very careful. I'm gonna jump over any comment that calls out something that's coming up. I see at the start, Copland's fantastic. Copland, folks, I'm loving that it's getting the love that it's getting.
Okay, let's put it on a list.
Yeah, and Irish Bear, good to have you back. The original poster of Die Hard left Bruce Willis off because the studio didn't think it'd go over well. It is the shot of Nakatomi Plaza, actually, I think, isn't it? Yeah.
It's on fire, isn't it?
I think there's the explosion at the top of it. Or is the whole thing on fire?
See, no. I think it's the top part that's on fire, but I don't know if it's just because I know that there's a Art Deco picture with just the tower.
Oh,
it's
nice.
Die Hard, but I don't know if I'm getting that confused.
It could have been before or after. People are great at making poster reimaginings. If I had money and space, but mostly it's the money. It's not the space that's stopping me. I would buy a load. Underworld is the best Romeo and Juliet I've ever seen. That's a heck of a good endorsement. We've got a shout for Robin Williams. It's not going to say too much. Keaton Batman was a big shock. Yep, damn right. Thank you all for these great comments, guys. I'm sorry we took so long to get back over to you here, but let's skip down a little bit. Just so you know, we do read all the comments, by the way, live or later on.
George Clooney is the best Batman if you want an excuse to get drunk. Okay, I didn't read the full part of that comment until I got to the second part.
How far back is that? Because I'm just hitting the Pretty Boy like Patrick and Paul with the flowing locks.
It's like the ninth. It's the ninth last comment or something.
Well, I look forward to the Pretty Boy jokes as well. By the way, everybody, thank you very much. Oh, I recognize that commenter. Carl, how you doing, brother? Good to see you. I don't know if I should out you as being a fellow person who puts themselves out online. Comment down below if you want to hype your own stuff there. Throw it in. You've got permission. I see the George Clooney thing. Okay. Oh, God. Yeah. I don't even want to touch some of the Batman-related stuff because if I don't read it carefully, somebody could say something before the end of the comment. Never read comments live if you don't know where they're going to end. I learned that a few weeks back, if you remember, Paul. Yeah. So while Paul autofocuses you all,
yeah, stupid. Yeah.
Let's all try a trick at home. If we all focus our minds on Paul, we'll make his camera see him again. There you go. You all did it. Thank you all. Oh, that's the
autofocus is bad today.
Very nice. Yeah, we'll dip back into the comments in a little bit. Carl, you're saying I think you did one. If you're talking about us hyping you, yeah, but you gotta hype yourself. Stick your link in there. Last save loaded. A great podcast. What about we do a little bit of Predator next, Paul?
Yeah.
How about a bit of Predator?
This is a good one.
And honestly, folks, this is where the idea came from. Because I mentioned this in an episode a couple of weeks ago. What I have on screen right now is Arnold Schwarzenegger, looking very Arnold Schwarzenegger-y in Predator. He's a big, very muscular, very intimidating man. And they did Predator 2 and chose one of the two people that are on screen right now from Lethal Weapon. So they had to choose for Predator 2 the crazy Mel Gibson hard man loon, or the guy with 2 weeks. Was it 2 weeks to retirement or 3? 2 weeks. Retirement?
Yeah. It's something like that. It started the trope of being like away from retirement. Yeah.
Damn it, 2 weeks. Yeah, Riggs and Murtaugh. Murtaugh was 2 weeks away from retirement. If it's 3, I apologize, internet, but I think it was 2. They chose, and don't get me wrong. Now there's Arnie back again. And look, Danny Glover did it. He did all right. Oh, where's my thing? I picked the wrong image again. Oh, Paul, nothing was organized. That's on me. So there you go. Predator 1 up the top, Predator 2 down below. Danny Glover did pull it off. It was a very different setting. It wasn't in the jungle, and he wasn't supposed to be army, so it makes sense. But you gotta admit that when you've made your money off an Arnie successful action movie, it takes some guts to not only go with a different story, but say, yeah, this story doesn't have a gigantic muscle man as the lead. It's not a traditional action star. Some would say that's why Predator 2 wasn't as big a success. Personally, I think that wasn't the time for sequels. Yeah.
Those interesting kind of ones, yeah.
But it's a surprise. It is a surprising casting thing between Arnie and Danny Glover. Also, Gary Busey is in that film in Predator 2.
Yeah, he is. He's actually quite young at the time too. Still.
Yeah, but I do agree. The Predator 2 is an underrated film. Like it's seen from the comments.
Yeah.
It is a very underrated film. Interesting little fact. Spoiler: there is a part where a predator gets his arm cut off. It was actually the stunt double that did that part actually was a one-armed stunt double, and he wasn't getting a lot of work, and they put in that scene specifically to get him more work. There you go.
That's good. That's good. More of that, please, Hollywood.
Yeah, he was friends with one of the other stuntmen, and they heard that he was kind of struggling with work.
Oh,
and
nice.
They decided to put in this scene.
Absolutely. Hollywood, hear us out. We want more of that, please. More of that. And if I'm ever down in my luck, I hope somebody casts just needlessly Pretty Boy number 3 in the back. I've got the credentials now because the comments say so. You know what, folks? Predator 2 being underrated, I definitely agree with. But I notice here, and hey, Ethan, good work. Keep writing, man. Your stuff is knocking it out of the park. We have a lot of talented people watching our show. Feel any pressure, Paul? Because I'm starting to.
I keep looking at some of the people who follow us, and I'm just like, why are you following?
Why are you wasting your time watching us? We watch you. But
he says keep watching us, share us out. Share us out. Don't stop watching.
Like, share, subscribe, and comment. Most importantly, comment. But for the analytics, most importantly, like also. I'm contractually obliged to say that. I still need to watch Predator. If you've never seen Predator, which is a position I almost envy now. I wish I was that lucky. If you're going to watch it, do me a favor. Watch it once, and then a few months later, come back and watch it again, and see how many of the lines you already remember because they are instant catchphrases. Instant.
There's a few that I have picked out that if we ever do a one-liner episode, that like several of them would come from this movie, but there's a lot of them that's so.
Folks, one-liner episode. It's coming. It's coming. And yes, it'll be about 20 minutes of just Predator. We'll just read from the script. Maybe. Yeah.
We'll do a dramatic reading of a script.
Oh, that's great. Well, I don't want to be Arnie, what was his name? Dutch? I want to be whoever Jesse Ventura was playing. Mac. I think, Mac was his mate.
Yeah, I think, I can't remember.
Although he says mildly racist things, so maybe I've chosen poorly there. Anyway.
No, we can just do the lines that are good. We can ignore the rest.
This is true.
Just like the mouse in the house does.
Yeah. Disney, what he's up to.
Continue on.
Yeah. Wolverine. There's a change of pace. Wolverine. I've just thrown Hugh Jackman up, looking as Wolverine-y ripped and scary as he can in any picture I could find that was free for use. And why did I do that? So that I could put this picture up below it and say, if you think, of course you look at Hugh Jackman, you just see Wolverine. That's why he was easy to cast. Paul, who wouldn't cast him? Of course. Deadly, yeah. Oklahoma. Yeah. The musical Oklahoma is what he was doing before Wolverine. Like, he has a stage background. We all know that. The man's quite the showman. The greatest showman, if you will. But if you're a good enough casting director to see the singing dancing man, who's, don't get me wrong, handsome as all heck, and is well enough built, and you go, could he play somebody with a rabid intensity that you really do think they could unsheath claws from their knuckles and want to have full berserker rage? I'm not picking the guy who's currently doing the dance to, Oklahoma. Yeah, I'm just not that creative.
I have to say that it feels like he ramped up though. Like I'm really like I'm a very much like person of I can't see anyone else play Hugh Jackman from the position he was in before he played it. It seemed an impossibility, kind of thing. But I feel that he has gotten better at Wolverine over time, and I think that although the not popular Fox X-Men movies, really damn helped him to ramp up, like, because he is now just, you can't see it without him.
No. And there's the irony isn't lost on me that I'm about to say, yeah, it's like Ryan Reynolds with Deadpool, and the two of them are so inextricably linked now, not only as friends and prank buddies and all that kind of stuff, but just because of that's where Reynolds was first introduced as a version of Deadpool. It was Wolverine Origins, that first one was called, wasn't it? I want to check the comments because I don't want to miss out any big ones, and the comments move pretty quickly in the first part of the show. Don't feel pressure. We're fans and we're going to keep watching. Thanks, dude. No pressure ever felt, because it's an absolute privilege to have any of you watching ever, and that includes you two future people. Just because we're not calling out your name doesn't mean we don't love you. I can see people quoting Predator right now. All Patrick did with the Hugh Jackman thing is make me want Wolverine powers. I understand what you're saying there, yeah. They wanted Russell Crowe, and when they couldn't do it, they got Hugh Jackman. Funny, because I heard, Dougray Scott, who was the bad guy in Mission Impossible 2, I think it was, or 3. I think him and Hugh Jackman, he took that role because Hugh Jackman was up for it, or vice versa. Oh no, Dougray Scott was supposed to be up for Wolverine, but because of his commitments to Mission Impossible, which he thought was going to be a bigger hit, joke's on him now. Yeah, Mission Impossible's been a hit, but I have to go Dougray Scott. Do you remember him? Because a lot of people don't. You see him and you kind of go, actually, if you squint, he looks a little bit like a younger Hugh Jackman. So yeah, can see what they were doing there. Bob Hoskins was also considered. What? Was he? What?
Yeah.
Wow. Jackman was cast at the last minute. Well, there you go, folks. Casting, when you get it right, you get it right. Phew.
Like, that's the thing. Once again, it's one of those last minute kind of castings that no one really saw coming, kind of thing, and then you can't see it without it,
Yeah.
So
now
it's. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say, and I hope this isn't which goes Michael Fox for Marty.
Oh,
that's a good, because that's like, it was made for him. He couldn't take it because of other commitments, and then they were like, nope, we can't do it without him.
Eric Stoltz has just proven that we were right to go with Michael J. Fox, which is tough for Eric Stoltz, but he went on and had a career. He did all right. Paul, I'm gonna move us into I've got a little category called against type is what I made the folder here that has these images, and I'm doing it because Russell Crowe was mentioned. Also Robin Williams was mentioned. So on screen right now you've got Mork. God, it hurts. It does hurt right now, doesn't it? Like, I'm extra emotional today, Paul. I don't want to cry on air, but God, that hurts when you see Mork. I did these images the other night. Whoa. Robin Williams, one of our favourite actors, I think it's fair to say, Paul. One of our favourite comedians too. He did some against type work. A lot of people would say Dead Poet Society, he was a brave choice for that. He was a brave choice for a lot of things, but 1 Hour Photo, the idea that he can be essentially evil, it's not the first thing you think of when you think of Mork, essentially.
No, like, he did. There's 4 films that I know about that he did, which were very much against type. And 1 Hour Photo is probably the perfect one to grab for him because of this. I can name the other ones, which is Final Cut.
Yep.
Which is
Insomnia.
Yeah, I didn't know if we wanted to.
Yeah, no, we're safe. We're safe for Robin Williams from here on out.
There's a it's like Night Stalker or Night something.
Crikey, there's a film I haven't seen. Ooh.
Yeah, it's a fairly it was around the same time. There's another one that came out after his passing, which is about essentially a father, but that's not the one I'm talking about.
Yeah.
There's another one.
Called Night something, which I'll find the name for.
Cool.
Kind of thing, but it's one of those films that you're surprised to see Robin Williams in it.
And you know, weirdly, like this is it's supposed to be about brave or surprising casting choices. I think Robin Williams proved himself to be talented enough. It's kind of like Jim Carrey. You're not going to be surprised at anything that they cast him for, or Steve Carell, or any of the kind of comedic actors who are really just actors who can do comedy, or comedians who are also actors separately. You know, they don't rely on one or other skill solely. I think Robin Williams. Let's take a moment, everybody. Robin Williams. Now, I hate to do it. I have to follow that up with picking on Russell Crowe.
Just to go, Night Listener was the Robin
Listener.
Williams film. Irish Bauer
Nice.
had the name.
Good man, thank you.
Thanks very much, Rob.
A good person, I should say. Thanks a million. Robin Williams was a master of his craft. There will never be another actor like him. Yeah, we almost did like 12 episodes, as in 12 separate full episodes. We were almost going to have a Robin Williams just season because I think we could talk forever. So we will be doing some stuff. I think both of us at the time, I remember kind of saying, let's leave it a while till we're more comfortable with it all.
Yeah, I think we were so taken back by it.
Yeah.
I think we took the day off, actually.
I think we might have done.
I think we took one of the days off for that.
Yeah, well, and this is why picking on Russell Crowe's not going to feel very good. I did this in the wrong order. Russell, you're massive, and you could probably kill me with a well-aimed fart. So this isn't picking on you. I know you sang in a rock band or blues band or whatever it was. I absolutely, you mightn't think this about me, but I love Les Mis. I think Les Mis was a great, particularly the movie. I think it was a great effort at the story as a film. I think it was, in hindsight, enriched by the fact that Russell Crowe couldn't sing particularly well, because it gives, I have a fondness for that now. But I think it was a brave choice, because surely they must have gone, Russell, we want you to do this. We just have to check to make sure that you've still got the voice. That's the way I would approach them, going, I know you've got the voice. We've got to check you've still got the voice. I feel like they didn't, or he had a really good day when the cameras weren't on.
Yeah, he auto-tuned himself and then sent it in.
Oh, wow, that would have been great. Yeah, so you are a Les Mis man up to a point, aren't you?
The movie is
No.
all right.
Not your thing.
No, I love the stage production of Les Mis, but
Okay.
and also the stage production of the Phantom of the Opera, but the movies versions.
Well, a movie version of Phantom of the Opera, I haven't seen a good one yet, but I think they did all right with Les Mis.
Interesting. There's a second film. There's another film of the originals, which is like they all moved to New York.
Oh, crikey!
Which is based on a second play,
Which I was not aware of until just now.
Yeah, there's a second play. A little factoid.
Yeah, so just checking. I saw Andy Samberg out of the corner of my eye in the comments. Made for the genre's topic. Andy Samberg would be my first choice. Oh, hey, it's a topic idea. I won't say too much. Thank you very much for topic ideas, by the way. So I'm throwing over to your last one with just one more, which is Eddie Murphy. Eddie Murphy being cast as the kind of the musician / manager / all sorts of things in Dreamgirls, which he was recognized for by quite a few of the awards people, but by the rest of us. Eddie Murphy, another guy that's probably going to get a whole episode, not because he's the world's greatest person. It's not a Robin Williams type of thing, but he has a hell of a body of work, and that's what makes him massively surprising casting for some roles, because he went from being the dude in latex playing 7 different roles in Nutty Professor, Clumps, all that kind of stuff, to Donkey in Shrek, and somebody thought, well, we're making a serious-ish music film here. Do you think we can get him to do his James Brown impression, but also act the rest of the time? And he really did, and he did it so well that everybody was like, God, that was good casting. I wouldn't have picked him. I beforehand, I wouldn't have thought that he had it in him. But it was great.
No, I get your points, because like this is him from SNL kind of like stuff, and
I love Eddie Murphy.
planted into the comedy scene and stuff like that. That this is a kind of a breaking moment for not a like a his break or anything, but it was one of those kind of like forcing against the typecast element of himself.
Yeah,
which paid off amazingly. So,
and look, he's reinventing himself all the time now, and I hate that phrase, but I used it anyway. Eddie Murphy's coming back and going away, and then coming to America with a 2. Yeah, we did an episode about having numbers in your titles recently.
Just the titles, like
yes,
don't do them like they used to.
Paul, I'm gonna throw up the one that we've had to avoid. I did catch that comment when I was scrolling through. Somebody picked your last choice. I am pulling up Charlie Chaplin, and then I'm pulling up Tony Stark.
Yeah, like that's
Take
the
it away.
thing. Like Robert Downey Jr.'s career is one of the hardest to follow for a bit. He was an amazing actor. He's like still is an amazing actor, but like his body of work prior to Iron Man 1 was a mix of loads of stuff, and then the controversies that came out and stuff like that. Like we're not going to talk about all that kind of like controversy stuff, but out of all this comes Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark, Iron Man, which was a huge big surprise. No one thought he could do it, so much so that even the insurance company wouldn't insure him. He had to insure himself for the movie, which is that's how much everybody was just like, Robbie Downey Jr. Nope, kind of thing. And as much as people in the comments might not like comic book heroes or kind of thing, like he was the one who built a franchise. He was the one that made the first film so successful that the rest of the Marvel universe was able to come about. Like it is an amazing story to have him like go through so many things. Like his Charlie Chaplin is incredible. Like he's Kiss Kiss Bang Bang is amazing.
Watched it again recently. Him and Kilmer are both flawless.
Like there's so many good films of Robert Downey Jr. and then there's a period of time which so like a lot of actors in the 90s kind of go through kind of thing, especially with some of the past stuff. But to have him play Tony Stark, like whoever the casting that casting,
Jon Favreau apparently did, you know, he had input into that. So casting director and director in that case, Jon Favreau, like credit. You said it. You wouldn't have everything you have today without the casting of, and I'm not even going to say the casting of Robert Downey Jr., the casting of Tony Stark, because what they did was they wrote a movie, then filmed Robert Downey Jr. pouring his charisma and charm into a character, and they just happened to call it Tony Stark. You know, it was inspired.
Yeah, like it's an amazing thing because I think with Robert Downey's kind of past stuff, it's a big thing to have him come back in this way, loved by everybody, and not like as in the audience. I know that the industry was a little bit cautious about stuff with it, but like I can't see anyone else play that character. And like as much as I say that for Hugh Jackman or anything, like Robbie Downey Jr. is Tony Stark. There's no like I could possibly accept another Wolverine down the road kind of thing, but I can't. Robbie Downey Jr. as Tony Stark, if they recast that,
yeah,
that's big shoes to fill.
It is. But you know what? I could see somebody else playing Iron Man in the future, but there's no way on earth I could imagine the MCU existing if he hadn't played him first in the past. If you know what I mean. It's pivotal casting on an epic scale, because like you say, Hugh Jackman, you change him out now or whenever, you've got the other X-Men stuff. You've got a half a chance of success. Iron Man was a linchpin. You couldn't have made the movie they made without it being Robert Downey Jr. Don't get me wrong, Bradley Cooper and all sorts of people, charm, charisma, fun, verve, whatever the hell you wanna say. The fact that Robert Downey Jr. gave himself, like it, it should say Robert Downey Jr. as himself and Tony Stark. It was, yeah, they owe him a lot. He made lots of money, and they all made lots of money. So I don't care how much money he made. He made us as well. Don't get me wrong, Favreau and everybody involved, equally important. But gosh, when it comes to casting, I also noticed a comment in here. Love Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. Yeah, that's why, again, watched it again recently. Didn't intend on watching it and was like, oh, just have to watch it now because I saw it there. I can't remember who commented. I think it might have been Irish. Said amazing story. Yeah, amazing story of what he's overcome, and love how people surrounding him raised him up instead of pushing him down. And that, folks, is the essence of it all. I think that's one of the reasons why it's great to be able to talk about his wonderful casting, because there's a lovely story behind. Like you say, Paul, we're not going into all the negatives and all the drama, but it's good that it's on an upward glide path on the way out, and there's lots of good people involved. Which, by the way, all of you lovely people, every time you watch, and I don't mean just for the analytics, you're doing something lovely for us, so thank you. Now, Paul, that's us. Is there any honourable mentions that you wanted to get to before we beg our way out of this and ask people to click stuff?
No, I'd say, like I say, Jim Carrey as Truman from the Truman Show. That was a stroke of genius as well, kind of thing. That was in the deep moments of his comedy career, kind of thing. That's only an honorary mention, kind of thing, because I don't see the Truman Show without him. Once again, another comedian, a very talented person breaking type, kind of thing, and it really working out for them and stuff. So, I guess that's the biggest thing. Like, I like the comment there about Chris Evans' Cap. Look, took longer to Sorry, hiccup there.
I was going to jump in, but I wanted to see if you'd do a full on burp on here.
Chris Evans' cap took a little bit longer. He did, yeah, but I think with Robert Downey Jr. having the linchpin at the start, kind of thing, because like that you can't sell it. Like Chris Evans did a great Steve Rogers and is one of my most favorites characters now. Originally wasn't. John Travolta in Pulp Fiction. Haven't seen Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, I was just about to say, Brew, one of our oldest, best, most loved and long-time contributors. Thank you, Brew, for the continued support. Really does mean the world. John Travolta, Pulp Fiction is a problem for both me and Paul. And it's not the John Travolta part, it's Pulp Fiction. Paul hasn't seen it, and I'm one of the few people on the planet that doesn't rate it as highly as everybody else. Doesn't mean I think it's bad before I get the internet rage. But there's a small list of very well-loved films that I'm like, meh. And Pulp Fiction's the one that usually gets me thrown out of conversations fastest. With, in fact, Brew. So thank you very much, Brew, for bringing our real world into the virtual here.
Yeah, and I haven't seen it because everybody has told me to watch it and has then systematically explained their favorite scenes throughout that movie. So I now know the movie without seeing the movie, so I don't care to watch it.
That makes a lot of sense. You will watch it someday and you'll be like, God, they got it all so wrong. I love this movie. Or they got it all so wrong. I hate this movie. Yeah, it'll be interesting over time. You'll catch it by accident. Watch Pulp Fiction's being shouted at you by people. I'm not a fan of Pulp Fiction. I've lost some friends. Hey, there you go. So you're like me. I bet you love Reservoir Dogs, though, or at least respect it more than Pulp Fiction. So
you're with friends.
Yes, you know what? We're all among friends. And on that note, Paul, I would like to say, quick apology. I sat down. Paul rolled with this really well. I sat down with like 30 seconds to go, and we finally got connected. So we pretty much jumped into this one. As you can see, no time for hair and makeup. And for anybody who knows us, who thinks we might have a hair and makeup budget,
I cut my own hair.
Actually, worse than that. Anybody who thinks that if we had a hair and makeup budget, that we would spend that money on hair or makeup, you don't know us at all. And I would like to end with Paul has cut his own hair. Did you just mention you cut your own
Yeah,
hair?
I cut my own hair. Yeah, it's
Nice.
did not go well.
Headphones cover a multitude of sins.
Oh God, yeah, it's a mess back there, and yet I'm fighting through it. I have seen people staring at me on the street, and I can tell that their brain going, there's something wrong here.
Yeah.
There's just something wrong.
Everybody's looking into the nearest doorway to see if there was an accident or a low swinging fan that they don't want to get caught on. I've had that. My hair is a lovely mess, but Paul, I would like to share this with you. I think your hair looks good. It looks all right. It looks perfect. I think you're a very pretty boy. Now, there's two of us. Everybody out there, thanks for your time. Thanks for your patience. Thanks for staying on late with us. For those of you watching in the future, we do a little thing called tickling the analytics. It's been brought up a few times tonight. Most importantly, though, do give us a comment if you weren't here for the live. Let us know what amazing or shocking casting had you kind of going, that'll never work. And then maybe mention whether or not you thought it did or didn't work, because it's not always a guarantee that it'll work out. Paul, is that a hat or is that a bag for something?
That's my beanie. It's my beanie hat.
I am impressed at how big it has to be to cover everything so well. There you go. Let us know in the comments down below if this is how Paul should do every episode for the rest of this month. And if you would like me to also don a hat, I will.
Because I want to point out, if you go back to some of the other episodes, I wore a hat and you slagged me relentlessly about my boy band hat kind of look.
I slagged you once for one video, and it's because I was insecure back then, for I did not know I was, is this my good side? Sorry, a pretty boy. Thanks everybody. Good night. Take care. I have been Patrick.
And I have been Paul.
You've all been brilliant, and we've been here us out. We'll see you very, very soon. Where's the
Thanks very
off
much,
button?
guys. Bye.
Oh, I'll push this one first.